nearly broke down and had surgery to remove my heel spurs, but then my knees went south. It's hell getting old. I talked to Dr. Bliss, my GP, about the situation with my knees. Yes, he said, you'll need knee replacement surgery eventually, but we're not there yet. Obviously, he was using the royal we, because if it was his knee situation instead of mine, I'm sure we'd have had it done by now. I glanced at my watch. We need to leave in about 20 if we're going to make it across the water before traffic stops up. Since we were sitting looking out at an expanse of water, it would be easy to think that's the water I meant when I spoke to Mel, but it wasn't. In Seattle, that term refers to several different bodies of water, depending on where you are at the time and where you're going. In this case, we were looking at Elliott Bay, which happens to be our water view, but we work on the other side of Lake Washington. In this instance, the traffic water in question. People who live on Lake Washington or on Lake Sammamish would have an entirely different take on the matter when they use the same two words. Context is everything. Okie dokie, Mel said, hopping off the window seat. Another refill, she asked. I gave her my coffee mug. She took it, went to the kitchen, filled it, and came back. She handed me the cup and gave me a quick kiss in the process. I started a new pot for our travelers, she said, then added, back in a flash. I'd showered and dressed while she was out, not that I needed to. There are 2 full baths as well as a powder room in our unit. When I married Mel, rather than share mine, she took over the guest bath and made it her own, complete with all the mysterious vials of makeup and moisturizers she deems necessary to keep herself presentable. I happen to think Mel is more than presentable without any of that stuff, but I've gathered enough wisdom over the years to realize that my opinion on some subjects is neither requested nor appreciated. So we split the bathrooms. As long as we share the bed in my room, I don't have a problem with that. Occasionally, I find myself wondering about my first marriage to Karen, who is now deceased. Most of the time we were married, we had 2 bathrooms, one for us and one for the kids. Would our lives have been smoother if Karen and I had been able to have separate bathrooms as well? No, wait. Denial is a wonderful thing, and I'm going to call myself on it. Despite my pretense to the contrary, the warfare that occurred in Karen's and my bathroom usually had nothing to do with the bathroom itself. Karen was a drama queen, and I was a jerk, for starters. Yes, we did battle over changing the toilet paper rolls and leaving the toilet seat up and hanging pantyhose in the shower curtain rod and leaving clots of toothpaste in the single sink. But those were merely symptoms of what was really wrong with our marriage. Namely, my drinking and my working too much. All the squabbling in our bathroom, the only real private place in the house, was generally about those underlying issues, rather than the ones we claimed we were fighting about. For years, Karen and I never showed up at the kitchen table for breakfast without having spent the better part of an hour railing at each other first. I'm sure those constant verbal battles were very hard on our kids, and I regret them to this day, but I have to tell you that the pleasant calmness that prevails in my life with Mel Soames is nothing short of a dream come true. Don't let the different last names fool you. Mel is my 3rd wife. She didn't take my name, and I didn't take hers. As for the single-day Ann Corleys and my marriage lasted, she didn't take my name either. So I'm 2 for 1 in the wives keeping their own names department. Karen evidently didn't mind changing names at all. She took mine, and later, when she married Dave Livingston, her second husband, she took his name as well. So much for the high and low points of J.P. Beaumont's checkered romantic past. When the coffee pot, an engineering marvel straight out of Starbucks, beeped quietly to let me know it was done, I went out to the kitchen and poured most of the pot into our 2 hefty stainless steel traveling mugs. This is Seattle. We don't go anywhere or do anything without sufficient amounts of coffee plugged into the system. I was just tightening the lid on the second one when Mel appeared in the doorway looking blonde and wonderful. Maybe the makeup did make a tiny bit of difference, but I can tell you she's a whole lot better looking than any other homicide cop I ever met. On our commute, she drives. Fast. It's best for all concerned if I settle back in the passenger seat of my Mercedes S550, drink my coffee, and do my best to refrain from